Okay, I can't do math. We actually have 4 parts left, not 3. Derp.
Good
Oops.
to know.
Anyway, when you're about to go to the final mission, you can run around the ship and talk to everyone. Now, here's the thing. The final plot mission isn't just a lockout for the Citadel. You can't go back to the Citadel, but it's also a lockout for advancing character relationships, I think. You won't be able to continue down a romance path after this point. You have to have expressed interest in a character or returned their feelings before this point, otherwise you won't have a chance. And that's why you can't romance Liara if you saved Therum for last, because you won't be able to get to that point in our conversation in time.
Oh, because you save her in that area, right?
Yeah. If you do that last, you get this amusing sequence where she's delirious from hunger, but more importantly for how it limits you in the game, you can't have any conversation with her after that point that would advance the relationship at all.
She tagged along for a very short adventure.
Yeah. Everyone after this point in the story has one specific conversation, and it's usually just 1 or 2 lines without you being allowed to give any input. It's everyone saying, "Oh, this is the final stretch, is it? Something dramatic. Goodbye."
Everyone seems sadly happy about disobeying the council and mutinying for the ship.
Yeah, the crew is incredibly loyal to Shepard at this point. I'm not exactly sure why, because the crew gets no character development. But, well, Shepard's, kind of a good leader, I suppose.
See you later.
Nobody except Kaiden dies on my watch.
Also, this is your goodbye to the Normandy crew, because every single crew member that you see here is either not going to be in Mass Effect 2 or is going to straight up die at the beginning of the game. There is a side quest, a DLC side quest, where you find all their dog tags, though. Garrus is like the only goddamn character here who has an actual conversation attached to this, and it's just like one dialogue prompt.
Tali seemed to have a lot of choices for her conversation.
Just now?
Yeah. Yeah, because she was talking about her dad and whatnot, and stealing the ship is a capital offense.
Oh wait, half these characters do have one conversation prompt. Okay, I'm getting this confused. All right.
You and me both.
Whew. It's been a long time since I recorded this. Can you tell?
It's been a long time since I've played through Mass Effect 1 fully. Like, I think I practiced it once before we did this commentary, like before we did part 1. I never finished that playthrough. I was just sort of playing for like 5 or 6 hours. And before that point, I don't think I've played Mass Effect since 2012, 2013. It's been a while.
What game do you replay the other games often, or is it just something that you really enjoyed when you did play it and you don't feel the need to go back to?
It's just I'm constantly playing new stuff, so I haven't really had time to go back. It's like, you know, I could go back and play a whole bunch of Xbox 360 games, but, you know, Resident Evil 7's out, and, oh man, Mass Effect Andromeda's coming out, and, oh, Zelda Breath of the Wild's coming out, and, oh god,
Yeah.
Horizon
never
Zero
ends.
Dawn says hi. That's
Yeah,
a game
Horizon
to
Zero
watch
Dawn.
out for. Come on, give it some love.
Normally, nowadays, if I'm going back to something old, assuming it's not something I absolutely have to go back to because I love it so much, it's for a Let's Play or a commentary.
Yeah, like even me playing Final Fantasy games right now, because I'm doing a retrospective for YouTube, that's why I'm going back to them. Like,
Yeah.
I don't just decide out of the blue that, like...
You know, it's still a valid excuse to revisit some classics.
Yeah. Sometimes I do, you know, like when Final Fantasy VII came out for PS4, I replayed that again, even though I've already played it again.
Yeah.
Alright, once you select land on Ilos, the game is locked into its endgame. You will not be able to go back and do anything else. This is the true point of no return. Now, I like how you travel by mass relay to the system to select the planet on the map, and then it has a cutscene where you're traveling through the mass relay.
Hold
Okay.
on, I wasn't feeling that one. Let's do it again.
And yeah, this is where the love scene will happen if you have a romance partner.
Sir, I love the popping on those ships. Sir, we've got a bunch of ships coming in. No, they got replaced by better ships. Never mind.
Where'd they go?
Those are our ships. I didn't recognize them. They keep changing.
Anyway, you might notice that my armor is all red and gray and has the N7 logo on it. Don't wear this armor. It's a stupid thing to do. I'm playing on normal mode, so it doesn't matter. I'm over level as fuck right now. But this is the Onyx 10 armor. And unfortunately, the Onyx armor is the only armor that ever has the N7 logo on it, but it's also the weakest armor type. So I'm wearing this purely for style. Yeah.
20 meters? No way we can make a drop in there.
Why am I the only one in my goddamn armor? Everyone get down to the storage bay and suit the fuck up.
The descent angle's too steep.
Ashley, you work in the storage bay. Why did you come up here without your armor?
It's a suicide run. We don't
These animations are just her barely raising her arms. It's a suicide run.
Oh god, that animation is
gear up and head
all
down the
over Dragon Age too.
Drop us right onto
Why don't we just try beaming ourselves down?
Ugh. Anyway, I always bring Liara and Tali with me on the final mission. Why? No particular reason. They're just my favorite characters out of this roster.
Have you tried other characters before, or
Huh?
have you tried other characters before, or?
Well, by this point in the game, it really doesn't matter what characters you bring. I mean,
Yeah, I was curious if, like, since they're the same race, I was curious if you brought, like, Garrus, it would do something.
no, it doesn't look like it. The only time I remember the actual character you're bringing into the final battle actually having any extra dialogue is in Mass Effect 2, where if you bring Miranda with you, she'll have a particular...
Hit him with the truck! Hit him with the truck!
Aw, man, we pulled off that death-defying impossible vehicle drop, and
Quite easily, actually.
we have to immediately get out of the vehicle and open a big-ass door. Wonderful.
Aww,
That
is there any option to drive this thing through at all?
Yeah, once you open the door, there's a driving section.
Aw.
Yay!
There must be some kind of security.
Although, what was wrong with just beaming us in?
There's no teleporter in this universe?
We're using Dr. Light technology. He can only transport us approximately one level away from the boss.
There is no teleportation, there are only mass relays.
Yeah, it's like
Unfortunately.
teleportation, sorta.
And unfortunately, there's only one mass relay small enough to teleport actual people. And, that's what we're here to find. Yeah, it turns out the conduit is a mass relay that connects a small mass relay on this planet to a smaller mass relay on the Citadel.
It's a trap.
You see how it all ties together? Yeah, that relay monument that we saw at the beginning of the game is an actual relay, and that's why it made Kaiden's teeth hum. I also died here because of those things. So this is my second attempt at going through Ilos, because I died right at the beginning.
You're supposed to pretend it's your first so that you can seem really good at the game.
Yeah, I knew that those enemies would jump out behind those walls, even before I knew they were there. It's just so...
Yeah, first try!
So practiced at this game. I know it like the back of my hands. Ignore the bloodstains on the wall right there and there and there.
Oh! I lied. I didn't cut out the death. If I had, this would have been a really short part.
We did a Lucas wipe, though.
Hey, people have been asking for that.
It's fitting.
They have?
Yeah, they have in the comments. It's like, if you're gonna... If you need to fade past something, use the Lucas wipe. I don't know
Nice
why people like
dissolve.
the Lucas wipe, but the Lucas wipe is terrible.
The Lucas wipe is kind of tacky. The only place I accept it is Star Wars, and that's just kind of because it's Star Wars, I guess.
That's because it's where it comes from.
Yeah, like
Oh.
every other time, it looks like somebody's just been playing too much with Windows Movie Maker.
Well, you know, this was a time before Windows Movie Maker, so the Lucas wipe, you know, was pretty impressive at the time. But now it's like, ugh. It's like that feeling you get when you watch Kitchen Nightmares and you realize I could have edited this in Movie Maker myself, and it would have taken about 3 hours.
Why don't you use your Omnigel for these if you're not gonna have anything else to use it for?
Point of pride, I suppose. Also, I'm not sure if you get experience points when you use Omnigel.
Aren't you max level?
So. I'm not max
I am
level,
the galactic
no.
champ at Simon.
I'm level 50, and this is not my first playthrough, so I actually can level up to 60, but that would take too long. Like, I might get to level 51 by the end of this, possibly.
Super intelligent robotic beings.
They have flashlight heads, sir. That's Ashley's response if you try to console her about her squad getting killed by mentioning that the Geth are perfect infiltrators. They have flashlight heads, ma'am.
Oh yes.
She just smiles at you. She says it. She's like, "Oh, thanks, but yeah, I know you're bullshitting."
Kind of like how the Splinter Cell games. It's just like, oh man, this guy is super duper stealth if you just ignore the 3 glowing dots.
There is actually an in-universe explanation for that. Like, it's a certain kind of light that the naked eye can't see, but it's there for effect, as far as the camera is concerned.
So you can keep track of him in dark areas.
Yeah.
Although it would be funny if, like, the Geth were invading or something, and they're doing, like, a stealth mission, but instead of, like, hiding in corners or like, a closet or something, they just, like, took a lamp out and put the sheet over their heads and just stood there.
Then you mistake it for an actual lamp, go to turn it on, and make the actual click noise.
Yeah.
Now, it would have been a good idea for me to wear the actually good armor that I was given, but no.
I'm an idiot.
I'm gonna wear it for a little bit, and then I'm gonna switch back to the Onyx armor, because this armor will help me get past all the Geth. But once you get past a certain point, it really doesn't matter what armor you're wearing. I mean, it'd be a good idea to wear something 10 ranked, but it could be the weakest 10 rank for all the good it'll do.
I mean, shouldn't you at least use the Steelix armor instead?
I don't have any.
Well, it's easy. You get a metal coat and then you trade. It's way more convenient than like needing to get a Razor Fang and then level it up to 32 at nighttime or whatever the hell you have to do for Weevil.
While knowing a certain move.
Although it would be interesting to see armor called Steelix, considering there is no steel in the armor. The armor is made of something called ablative ceramic.
Unobtainium.
Wait, hold on. Your suit is made out of pots?
I suppose.
So what? So did somebody take all of the jars that all the other RPG heroes have cracked open and then just used all the dust to make armor in Mass Effect?
Well, considering what Omnigel actually is, that's not an unreasonable theory.
A developer saw their kid wearing a pot as a helmet, lid as a shield, and it's like, you know what? Gonna make an armor out of that, buddy.
So Donald's the inspiration for all of the Mass Effect armor.
Now, these statues that you're going to see all over the place, originally they were believed to be the Protheans. And I think they originally were the Protheans, but retroactively they were described as being the species that came before the Protheans.
I'm guessing they wanted to use a different design for the Protheans.
Yeah.
The Protheans.
Yeah, the Protheans are this four-eyed race that has a specifically shaped head. Nothing like these tentacle fuckers.
I almost expect them to have like a random orb in their hands that'll give you the screw attack.
Yeah. One of the primary reasons that they made the Protheans like this is because they wanted to have the Protheans be humanoid. Because the Protheans show up sort of in Mass Effect 2 as this sort of enslaved mutant race of bug people things, but they have to be humanoid enough to wield guns and stuff, And oh god. Ah!
Oh, hello.
Hi there.
Give me a hug, you son of a bitch.
I was kind of hoping that they would be like orange and yellow Atzel people, like in Jack.
Nah. Unfortunately, no. But yeah. In Mass Effect 3, the DLC party member is actually a Prothean that you rescue from stasis. Like the last remaining Prothean of his kind. That would be Javik. And Javik is interesting. But, well, can you imagine one of those tentacle motherfuckers as the actual, party member?
Well, not as a party member, but considering the design of the Reapers and the idea that you would make a robot that kind of looks like your own species, it makes a little bit more sense in some ways.
Well, the Protheans didn't make the Reapers. The Reapers have been around since long, long before.
Oh.
But,
So what? So just as a question, did all these Protheans just die here, sitting here?
No, these are just statues.
Oh.
Yeah. They're statues of the race that came before the Protheans. And the idea that's implied by this is that the Protheans found these ruins and started their science facility in the ruins. Which explains why why Ilos is like such a goddamn archaeological dig, even though it's a scientific facility.
I'm still going to call them the Protheans.
When you think science, you generally think utilitarian, right?
The kind of overgrown lab is a cool final area, though. It's definitely different. It's a lot more unique than, like, oh, your lava planet or whatever. So
Yeah.
props for that.
Ilos has a really really nice visual look to it. Unfortunately, it's the only place that looks like this that we're ever going to find. I mean,
And we already had a volcano area earlier. It was called Hot Labs. I think it was a volcano area. I'm not entirely sure. It might be just the name.
No,
Shepard, you must go to the Mustafa system.
unfortunately, we don't have any volcano areas as major areas throughout the game. There are a few side quests that happen on volcano planets, but those are generally like 10-minute N7 missions in Mass Effect 2 or something.
Do you run into Vader?
No.